I just wanted to send out more of a video announcement this week just so you guys can get a better idea of what's on the agenda for this week leading up to the end of spring break. I hope you all been doing well. I miss all you guys. I hope you're staying safe, staying inside, finding different ways to help the community. If you guys have grandparents or anybody who needs help getting anything, make sure you guys are volunteering. If you have a way that you could help a healthcare professional or someone, make sure you find ways to do that, guys. But side note, let's just kind of get into what this announcement is really about. So first and foremost, everything you need to know for this week can be found on the page. That's called 3:30 to 4:3. And you have two tasks this week. One task is that you will be comparing a U.S. Constitution to a Constitution at a state level. It could be anyone you want. So let's take a look at this assignment. This is due on Friday at 5 at the end of the week. This is going to be a 3-paragraph response, and I wrote you a sample paragraph that you can look at to guide you. All right, basically what you're going to do is, much like the United States Constitution, each state also has a constitution. So what that means is that they all detail, the way their government is set up as well, just like the U.S. does. What you're going to be doing is finding 2 similarities and 1 difference, okay, and using these constitutions to help guide you. So I listed out some constitutions for you that I think will probably be the most popular, but if you don't want to use these constitutions and you want to do a different state, a quick Google search of the state's name and then their constitution will pop up. Several links will pop up. So here's Maryland. I put Virginia here. I put the best state because that's what Ohio is, and then I put the U.S. Constitution. Now, if you guys want to do like a different state, and maybe a lot of people want to do where their college is, which actually a lot of you will probably be Ohio for a lot of you. Feel free to do that. That's fine. Like I said before, any state you want to do. All right, so the purpose of this is I just want you guys to be familiar that there are state constitutions and see that they're all a little bit unique, but in the end of the day, it's all America, all right? So you can see how the ideas of America are reflected in the states. Now, here's what an example of a similarity or a difference looks like, because I don't want you guys to sit there and say, oh, well, both have articles or both have a Bill of Rights. That's not what I'm looking for as a similarity here. What I'm looking for is a concrete detail of something in the government that is similar or different. So, for example, in Ohio, here's the sample I came up with is that both governments are headed by one person who serves a 4-year term. Then I go on to provide evidence of each of these. I cite the U.S. Constitution, Article 3, Section 1, Part 1, and then right here you can see I included a quote for where that's from. Then I continue to say in Ohio, blah, 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 they have governors, blah, 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 and then I cite their state constitution and then put the quote in, okay? So that also explains that there is, a 4-year term for the governor. That's all this is really doing, and then I said it is apparent that when writing the Ohio Constitution, the framers used the U.S. Constitution to guide them, and both Ohio and U.S. Constitution's executive term lengths can be found in Article 3, Section 1. So then I just had a little thing to wrap it up. So anyways, that's what you're doing. You're basically going to do this 3 times, except one of them should be a difference and 2 should be similarities. All right, so I included that. Please make sure you come up with some sort of concrete detail for your similarity or difference. All right, let's take a look at the other thing you have to do this week. We're going to be on the discussion board again this week, and basically all you're going to be doing for this is just, I posted a question on the discussion board when we did that federalism debate. And we didn't really respond too much to it. A lot of people had already posted, and it didn't necessarily always apply. So now I'm going to kind of focus more on this about how much federalism has been in the news and our system of it. Now, it hasn't always been in the news quite like, oh, well, federalism is great or federalism is bad. but it's been in the news with, people, have different ideas of how much involvement the federal government should be having, with regulating, personal protective equipment being shipped out, ventilators, coming up with national ideas, things like that. So what you guys are going to be doing is kind of taking an opinion on that, but in a slightly different way. All right, I found this article in Bloomberg that I read the other day. Now, understand a couple things about Bloomberg. One, Bloomberg is definitely has a liberal bias. We kind of learned about that earlier at the beginning of the year, the different biases. So that doesn't mean it's a bad article. It just means that you should understand that when you read it. And then also understand that it is an opinion piece. So this isn't someone who is reporting necessarily all the facts of everything, who's saying that they know everything. They're posting an opinion piece. It's essentially just an argument. All right? So if you click on this piece, you'll see the title is U.S. Federalism Isn't Great at Handling Pandemics. Pretty safe to say you know what they're going to be arguing. And then it says, in times like these, it would be nice to have a stronger federal government. So then they go through and they detail the reasons why they believe this and some things coming, to fruition throughout these past couple weeks. Now, as far as the date of this, it's from March 19th. So, this is, roughly 10 days old. So it's not going to be fully updated with all the new details that have come out. But feel free to use those details to support yourself when you're putting your opinions. And what I want you to do is just read this article, and after you read it, provide an analysis. Now, what do I mean by analysis? It means that you should be kind of critiquing it or supporting it, right? Is it correct? Is it kind of right? Is it not so right, but maybe a detail's right? Or is it completely wrong? And you should be posting your, response almost as like, I totally agree with this author, or I don't think that they've got this right. I think, their opinion's off. Whatever. Kind of start off by debating against the author. Whether, and you could be in support of the author, you could be against them, you could be partially against him. It doesn't really matter. Just have some kind of response to the author. And then once you complete that, challenge two peers in your class, and that means just respond to their posts. Now, by challenge, I mean you could either provide further support that they did not include, or, and this should also be something that you don't just take something you wrote down in your post that everybody can already read and put it, at the bottom of somebody else's. Say, have you considered this? Something like that. Or you could debate them. If someone has a completely different responses, you debate against it, bring up an argument, but just do it in a polite way. All right. Understand your initial response will be due April 1st and replies will be due April 3rd. Now, as far as the length of this, I think like a well thought out paragraph. It doesn't need to be, multiple responses, but lay out a good argument that could either be disputed or supported. All right, so anyway, that's what we're doing this week. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, and I'm more than happy to help you. And I will be talking to you guys again after spring break, so enjoy your break once you get through this.